Maybe the Germans are suffering a decline in manufacturing, or maybe Ludendorff wants to focus on his infantry. But enemy planes seem to be increasingly sparse. With fewer worries about patrols, we can commit more of our own resources to chipping away at ground targets. This afternoon we're bombing a road at Mézières to further complicate the Huns' stockpiling problems. Jackpot! The road was chock full of supply trucks hauling cargo to the town's processing centre. I couldn't wait to begin blowing up these surprise packages before anyone got the chance to open them. Glory is no cheap commodity. Yesterday, a French pilot staking his own claim to air supremacy challenged the fearless Richtofen. Our unfortunate friend will be buried at dusk. Having moved its airfields closer to the front, the Baron's Jagdgeschwader remains a formidable presence. What's worse, the Huns have unleashed the new Fokker D7, their most treacherous biplane yet. Our four-man patrol to All Noir may be the first to face this new ripple in what we had prayed was the enemy's wane. Even with German industry at a crawl, Richtofen had an increased number of planes at his disposal. Defended by 9 Fokkers, the All-Noir citadel was not to be taken for granted. I'll say one thing for the Germans, they haven't lost their spirit. No matter how many lives their damned offensive costs them, they just keep coming. Farah says their land gains will ultimately cripple them, that they're taking more territory than their shrinking reserves can control. Our train strafing today at All Noir may bring us a sign of how much they're really hurting. The enemy's ironclad trains were astoundingly intact, still running on schedule, loaded with troops and arms. A rigid exercise in train tattering was strongly recommended. Our dog Barkley has taught himself a new trick. He chases after our planes as we're rolling down the field for takeoff, and he lies down and rolls over just as our wheels leave the ground. Don't know how he picked it up, but we call it the Barkley barrel roll. I'm taking up one of Otis's best soup bones to toss to the mutt when we depart this afternoon to bomb the Namur aerodrome. Barkley leapt off all fours as I tossed him the soup bone. I was probably imagining it, but I was sure I could hear his playful barking over the roar of my engine as I headed for Namur. We've received a new directive from our First Allied Supreme Commander, Marshal Ferdinand Foch. The first duty of fighting aeroplanes is to assist the troops on the ground by incessant attacks, with bombs and machine gun, on columns, concentrations or bivouacs. Air fighting is not to be sought except so far as necessary for the fulfillment of this duty. We're obliging today by bombing a munitions dump at Saarburg. Marshal Foch's policy wasn't my favourite reason for risking my neck. Blunting Ludendorff's every move was our key to getting home, and that was reason enough to bomb anything that could be bombed. While Ludendorff may be having his problems, he isn't quite tripping over his feet. The Huns are everywhere. At Lys and Flanders, the British and French have been working together to halt them. But the loss of life on all sides is unfathomable. The four of us patrolling Heersen this morning will be looking to end Richtofen's part in the campaign. We were attacked south of the Heersen aerodrome by two of the dominant D7s in tandem with a pair of triplanes. Our search for the Baron had produced a savage dogfight with his disciples. A bottle of champagne on my tab for one Canadian pilot by the name of Roy Brown. 2 days ago, he did what no other could do. He took the Red Baron from the skies. Not only is the flying circus in a shambles, the entire Luftstreitkraft has been shaken to the core. This afternoon's escort mission to Bitburg will feel very strange without the threat of the Baron's Scarlet triplane. The wizards of Yasta 4 struck with no intention of letting our recon plane photograph so much as a beer garden. We were a man down in the 4-on-5 scuffle, with an anchor tied to our wings. About Richtofen. At first I was glad he was dead. Now I can't understand why I feel remorse. On the one hand, we really do feel badly when we shoot down a great pilot. On the other hand, shooting down great pilots is our job. After all, ridding the skies of enemy aces is the best way we have to improve our own chances for survival. So why do I feel so strange about it? We must now turn to bombing a rifle factory at Marche. But no one will ever forget the Great Red Baron. The rifle factory wasn't all we'd come to destroy. We were out to trample the enemy's spirit. If our bombs made Fritz panic, they'd truly be affecting the outcome of the war. Met a friendly fellow passing through the town named Rickenbacker. He's American and used to race cars back home, but as a pilot he's still awfully green. Just got his first victory, and the way he's celebrating you'd think he was already an ace. Too bad our three-man patrol to Rattel is already staffed, or we'd take him along for the practice. The 4 DR-1s below us were a lot less frightening than the vast number of D-7s that could have been airborne. Even a plane short, we weren't facing anything we couldn't handle. Crisis on the battlefield always leads to political shuffling. I hate it when war becomes more about domestic squabbles than the quickest road to victory. Reorganize this division, restructure that battalion. Is that the only way our leaders think they can protect the future of their careers? I pray there's something more than politics to this morning's orders for balloon busting at Rittel. The Gothic blueprint below us was as calm and unthreatening as the skies around us. All the three of us faced was a single undefended balloon. If this wasn't a sitting duck, nothing was. I wonder what we should call the Richtofen Geschwader now that the Baron is dead. Is it still the Flying Circus? Farah doesn't care what anyone calls it as long as we continue to shoot down Germans. We're patrolling Hirsen at dusk to see if the once invincible pride of the Luftstreitkraft still defends the German skies. The Baron may have been dead, but the fighter wing that bore his name was no less determined to defend his honour. We had 4 planes to their 5, and no one was in a rush to get home for supper.